balancing. But first, here's Tony Whitney with a new restyled Toyota MR2.
If you've ever hankered after a 60s Ferrari Dino and wondered why you couldn't buy a modern version, Toyota has the answer to your dreams. At some time or another, just about every sports car buff has lusted after a Dino, and many agree it was the prettiest Ferrari ever built. Owners are comparing Toyota's new MR2 to the 1968 Dino with some justification. It has the same mid-engine configuration and also looks a lot like the Italian classic, particularly around its rear deck. Performance of the turbo in particular is more than a match, and handling is outstanding too. In addition, you'll save several $100,000 by buying the Toyota. Toyota's original MR2 created quite a stir when introduced a few years back. Few manufacturers were bothering with mid-engine layouts at that time, but Toyota saw the benefits offered by its ideal 45-55 weight distribution and consequent effects on handling. An angular and rather ugly sports car, that first MR2 used to be something of a bargain, but prices crept up as the model matured, and many buyers regarded Mazda's RX-7 as a better buy. The new MR2 makes no attempt to break back into an economy sports car niche and offers features that place it in the middle to upper market bracket with prices to match. From a styling standpoint, those angular lines of older MR2s have been abandoned in favor of sleek and swoopy curves. Sad to say, the wheels seem a bit lonely in their wheel wells, and there seems to be a lot of space around the tires. Perhaps they could be bigger in diameter. I suppose some might say the turbo version's huge rear spoiler is a little overdone and could have been more subtly incorporated. If you don't like it, you'll have to make do with a non-turbo MR2, and that comes without this appendage. To my surprise, I found that rear vision was excellent. With two-seaters in this class, you often have to give up rear visibility in favor of styling features, but backing out of my garage proves safer than expected. Turbo versions are said to be the fastest Toyota's ever offered in Canada, with 0 to 100 km/h times of under 6 seconds. The price tag of about $33,000 is therefore quite a bargain, but it's still expensive. Fuel economy is in the 10 litres per 100 kilometers range. The high-performance 200 horsepower power plant is a 4-cylinder configuration and displaces 2 litres. Like several other current Toyota engines, it has a 16-valve twin-cam layout. Buyers with more modest power aspirations can opt for a milder and more economical 130 horsepower 2.2-litre twin-cam motor. I've tried both, and while the turbo is a real barn burner, the basic engine is no slouch either. All MR2s come with a 5-speed manual gearbox and 4-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors. Turbo cars are equipped with anti-lock brakes as standard. My test car was loaded to the extent of the options list and came with what seemed an endless roster of mouth-watering goodies. Included were leather seats of excellent design, a compact disc player with concert hall sound quality, power everything, and an anti-theft system. All MR2s have a T-bar roof which involves 2 removable glass panels. While this is a nice extra to have, it's not as good as a system as the one Toyota uses on its Supra sports model. Supra's roof removes in one piece, a much better arrangement in my view. As a pure sports car, this new MR2 is very hard to beat. Some of its rivals seem dated in comparison, and the turbo version's straight-line speed puts it in a very high performance class. One obvious rival is the Mazda RX-7 Turbo, and there's also the more costly Nissan 300ZX. You might also check out an Eagle Talon and even the very expensive Porsche 944. Well, I like this one more every time I drive it, Ted.
This is one of those cars that I've never quite liked. Even the old one. I didn't like the old one much. I do like this new one more than the old one, but I don't really... It doesn't turn my crank. At high speeds, and I mean like high speeds, this thing is treacherous. I feel like if I sneeze, I'm going to go off the road. It really worries me at high speed. I love the performance. I mean, you'll get to high speed very quickly. Excellent brakes, excellent handling, but far too small inside. I just got to have more room than that. I don't know. I just can't put my finger on it, but I've never really been crazy about the MR2, you know?
Well, it is strictly a two-seater, of course. That has to be emphasized. It's really a kind of a car for people who are spoiled by maybe having other vehicles too, because it's not very practical, although you can get quite a bit in the little hatch.
I do admire Toyota's spirit of adventure. Was that the last generation had a supercharger, which I thought was interesting, and that was an interesting car to drive. And they're back to turbo this year, but You know, if I was going to buy this against, say, the 300ZX, be no contest.
Yeah, but I don't know whether it's really pitched against the 300ZX. The 300ZX is maybe $5,000–6,000 more in its basic form. True. One of the things that bothers me most about this new MR2 is the fact that the old one was an affordable sports car, rather like a Miata, and it cost about $15,000, $16,000, $17,000, depending on when you bought one. Yeah. And it had a nice twin-cam engine and so forth, 16-valve, and it was quick and so on. And even when it went to supercharged form, it was only about $22,000. This is $33,000, and it's getting a bit expensive.
Well, what isn't expensive from Japan? I mean, we're getting to the point now where $20,000 is going to be the starting point for anything from Japan. I mean, they're just all going up in price. This one's no exception. I don't like that car this much.
Yeah, price is a little high. Okay, summing up here. I didn't like the way the wheels looked lonely in their wheel wells, but that's just a personal thing. Handling was outstanding. Rear visibility was better than anything in this class I think I've ever driven. The performance is really breathtaking. As far as driving dollar value goes, I can't give this one more than 3/4 of a tank because of its high price.
And we'll be right back with some tips on tire balancing.